Thank you, Ms. Kane, Mrs. Budd, and Mr. Peters for writing my letters of recommendation. I'll be going to Penn State next year.
Thank you, Ms. Jamelko and Mrs. Quinn for writing my recommendation letters for college. I'll be attending Penn State University next year.
Thank you, Sister Teresa Mary, Ms. Kane, and Ms. Weiss for writing my recommendations letters. I'll be going to St. Joseph's University.
Thank you, Mrs. Sylvester and Mr. Roche for doing my recommendation letter. I'll be going to Temple University next year.
Thank you, Ms. Kane and Ms. Fletsky. I will be attending the University of Pittsburgh in the fall.
Thank you to Mr. Marchese and Mrs. Quinn for doing my recommendation letter. I'll be going to George Washington University next year.
Thank you, Mrs. Kowalski and Mrs. Sylvester for the letters of recommendations. I will be attending Temple University.
Thank you, Mr. Clark, Sister Mary Anthony, and Mrs. Bivlakwa for writing my recommendation letters. I'll be attending Penn State University.
Thank you, Mr. Turner and Mrs. Hoffman for writing my recommendation. I'll be going to University of Sciences next year.
Thank you, Mr. Clark and Madame, for writing my recommendation letters. I'll be going to St. Michael's College in Vermont next year.
Thank you, Dr. Ish and Mrs. Quinn for writing my letters of recommendation. I'm going to Temple University next year.
Thank you, Ms. Savino and Ms. Sheridan for writing my recommendation letters. I'm attending Kutztown University in the fall.
Thank you, Sister Mary Jane and Mr. Turner for writing my letter of recommendations. I will be attending Gwinnett Mercy University in the fall.
Thank you, Mr. and Ms. Young, for writing my letters of recommendation for college. I will be attending King's in the fall.
Thank you, Sister Mary Anthony, Mrs. Greenwald, and Sister Constance for writing letters of recommendation. I'll be going to Kutztown in the fall.
Thank you, Dr. Fisher and Mrs. Budd, and to everybody else who helped me this year. I will be attending LaSalle University.